lot of times thinking about. But that's not what we're here to think about. We're here to think about moving the needle and raising instruction. Okay? Are there any questions about the data or any concerns?
The numbers are, they say a lot of things. However, I believe if we are allowed to go beyond the numbers,
That is correct.
we can get some very telling stories of how a kid that started green goes red. Nothing better than a kid himself or herself sitting down and telling people what she or he has been doing different from 8th to 9th grade. And I wonder if you would have that opportunity to have interviews, case studies, and get to the bottom of what.
If that becomes part of the 9th grade cohort team's work, and if you would like to join that team, that can be an extension of that. There's no set criteria for the cohort except to say whatever works to get these kids out of here on time and graduated. But if we have met the AMO under the same categories in the 4 years, okay, that's the expectation every year. And that's what I want you all to take away with you today, that all your work is not in vain and that we will continue to support each other. But you have to lean on each other, and you can't hold what works because it worked for you. Everybody else needs to get a taste of what's happening in classes. But see, when I look around and ask people to come, it's the same 8 teachers that show up. It's the ones that don't have the problems. It's the ones whose mark distribution says that kids that got what they got it because they earned it. Not for any grade changes, technicalities, or because there was a substitute in the room and the teacher was attending. The lessons are planned, the objectives are posted. Informal walkthroughs are proficient and distinguished. That is what you're looking at in this room. So that means that's why you're leading those departments, and you're part of those departments. So you should go back, God bless you, and have those conversations and help the B and the C teacher meet the same standards without hurting them or making them feel like you are chastising them, or that they're not good enough, or that the word was mediocre. Okay, no one here is mediocre. Everyone can live up to their full potential. They just need extra support from other people sometimes. I learn from you all every single day, and I told Mr. Manufield that. I was extremely impressed by his classroom instruction. It was professor style, polished, collegiate. It sure is. So thank you. And you're not the only one, but you're the most recent. Mr. Dr. Fanning.
Yes, I want to point this out. I don't know how many of us notice the Hispanic students. They are not living up to standard. Maybe only in my class, I don't know that. However, I want to point the fact out that early in the morning, when I drive to work, I see them going out of the school in the bus stop over there on Greenbelt.
Yes.
And then at the same time, walking out through the main, the annex,
Yes.
going into the bush there. I don't know how many of us are noticing that. A large number of them. I want to call our attention to that because it's going to affect all these things that we are talking about.
Yes, it will affect it.
I don't know, maybe they have brought that to your notice.
Albert, if you are in the building, contact the main office immediately.
Officer Gilliam is a school resource officer. Corporal has flipped or changed positions. He retired from the police force and now he is the second lead investigative counselor in the school.
Right.
Officer Corporal Gilliam now takes Officer or Corporal Washington, former, aka Corporal's job. So we need to get him acclimated, and he's learning too what the roles are externally. Because we shut down truancy last year, I don't think sometimes county feels that they need to see. When I came in last year, the kids that walked or were at the store and in the back were picked up and taken down, and the parents came. But now they're starting to try. When those that are trying are probably your freshman class, with some guidance from some upperclassmen that may not care. But I'm sure the majority of them are the freshmen. So I thank you for that. Get the email, and we will be meeting on that with the administrative team and the security team. Okay, because he has to roam around the perimeter of the property as well. And then Owens B Science Center is excellent with, telling us about that. And we haven't gotten any emails, recently about, and maybe it's just so early that when you're here or between your travels that they may not be seeing what you're talking about. So it will be addressed, definitely. Any other questions on that? Okay. Couple of announcements and then we will be dismissed or adjourned. The AVP scoring is October 21st through the 4th from 4:30 to 8:30. And Mr. Park sent that out for those of you that want to score. I believe it is a half-day workshop pay. Dinner is not provided though, and substitute teachers cannot score. Mr. Park resent the updated test schedule, okay? So please throw away the old one. In terms of mandatory unit tests, did you get this from me on EduSoft?
Yeah.
Okay, and I gave it to you, and I gave it to Meredith and Candace.
That you saw it on the grader.
Okay, well,
I have
I'll look
to
into
put that
that. And then there was some trainings that I sent regarding Common Core. Mrs. Price sent regarding Common Core for English and for mathematics. And let me see, the team facilitator training, you all will collaborate, work that out, Mr. Rosales and Ms. Conrad, for whomever is going. Let's find out. And I said at the beginning, the Powering Up for Technology Conference is November 9th from 7:45 to 3:15. Teachers, please make sure their teachers are putting in their grades and their attendance. That's also key, because my question is, how many kids, for example, if they turned in the work and it wasn't graded by progress but graded after, did school max also reflect a negative balance on a child? Okay, it happens. I'm not saying that's the predominant, but let's make sure those grades are in. The depth of knowledge, or the wheel for the level 1, 2, 3, and 4 activities is there for you. We have the Division of Student Services and how they can be of assistance to us, and all those things are on the table. And that's PBIS, peer mediation, drug counseling, student assemblies, okay, for the administrators, if you want to get them in and plug in a hole there. The SIT and SST support, parent conferences, and parent presentations. And then they do meetings on bullying, Media's Kids, CPAC, which we are already coordinating with the CPAC program for the kids that can't, the judge doesn't want them to go to the detention center, so we have the community conference in CPAC, the character ed and all that on Saturdays, and local care teams and referrals to community conferences. And then the climate survey, which, I was really pleased, not where it should be, but it wasn't bad either. So I gave you all a snippet of that information of where Duval falls. It's the very last page that captures a snapshot of what students think, parents think, and of course what the teachers and paraprofessionals think. And it stems from effective instructional leadership all the way down to relevant professional development. So that wasn't a bad thing, which meant the work here last year, again, we're making strides. Per the school strategic plan and review, thank you to the TCs for the expectation. They were met. However, there's evidence, feedback, comments, and it basically speaks to monitoring our plan, and it speaks to professional development, strong PD over time. And tutoring, I guess after faculty, thank you. I received Ms. Lynch's, Mahmood's, Madame Buzz, the word language, and there are a whole lot of host of folks that do tutoring. We just want one big schedule of teachers' names and the dates and times it's offered on one sheet. So when parents say, my kid needs, we can say, well, here you go. So we'll put that together shortly. And then attached to your evidence was just conversation about the climate report, something from Ms. Felton about your passcode discovery education, PD opportunities. Oh, and this is critical. And I don't know if Ms. Detweiler and Mr. Sevilla wanted to jump in, but Mr. Powell had sent, this was for faculty meeting day, but since you all were in breakouts, the guidance team got together, and thank you, and they gave an overview of what the SIT team does, the school instructional team, okay? And then they provided you all with a copy of the referral forms. So please use them as needed. There is feedback forthcoming. There is a template that is filled out and action steps for students, okay? And then the Scholar for Dollar communication is on hold. And lastly, some big news. We've been recognized to become an engineering, aerospace, and aviation academy next year. But we'll be talking more about that tomorrow, won't we, John? We have a strategy team meeting with Dr. Monsigi, Mr. Harrell, Mr. Yago, and Lori up at Parkdale for an hour and 15. So there's some guiding questions they're asking of us, but we need to find out if they want that academy, when are they gonna finish our kitchen? So, for the Pro Star program, which was the small cafeteria, which is currently now a storage room. So, yes, any other concerns or questions? Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Hamilton and I went to Roosevelt on Saturday and did the Comer
Yes, you did.
thing.
Thank you.
I went to 2 meetings, one on UDL, and I have, which I'll get a sheet to you, resources on the UDL, really nice information on it, and where you can find help with lesson plans and so on that fit into the UDL. Some really nice resources that you can click on. It wasn't all that I expected, but there is some nice resources. And then I went to the DataWise meeting with the elementary school principals there. And personally, we're better than what they're doing, at least I see in our department. I don't know what Ms. Hamilton went to, but,
I went to DataWise. I went to the morning session.
okay.
And I thought there was some things that I would like to implement as far as just praising students for their good deeds on those exams, because I think that they're acknowledged and they're praised, and they will want to work.
Yeah, see,
toward
we
it.
are,
And if we
in
make it
ours, we've
competitive,
already done that so
make it
far,
a
yeah.
competitive way, like Obama says, race to the top. Well, if we develop that type of culture, then maybe students will take that eagerness to learn to a higher level and wanting to perform better on tests. So I thought,
And what else did you go to?
I liked it. They had banners. They had,
Did you go to another one?
No, I did not. I just went
Which is
to
that
that
one?
one.
Yeah, they did have some banners outside the teachers' doors of those students when the whole
Yeah.
class was proficient advanced. And I think we need to do that as well, maybe that'll push our students. And I was gonna suggest that too, so that we can do that.
Ms. Ware, can I
Yes.
make an announcement? I'm hosting the MSCA convention. I will send out the schedule for this Friday and Saturday, just to give an idea. The whole of afternoon Friday will be a grand ball in the convention center, we will be talking SLOs. So that would be a good idea if you want to know more about SLO, just drive to Ocean City.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, if